Yesterday we were talking about harmonic functions, um, and it's important to know your scales, knowing how to build a chord from those scales, and just knowing the ins and outs of the major or minor, augmented and diminished of those triads. So it's important to know this. The reason why it's important to know this, and I'm just going to take you to what we were doing yesterday, Ratatouille, is this is how you analyze music. So not only do you know, okay, what note is this? What rhythm is this? What time signature, key signature? That's all the basics of theory. Uh, but to go beyond that moment of where am I in this chord? What am I supposed to be doing in this chord? What's important? What's like less important? Um, how to shape music phrases? How to even make a phrase? Um, there are dynamics in there, but I can create some dynamics. I can do something with this held long note, vibrato, crescendo, do all these really cool, unique stuff that makes music pop out from the page itself. And I remember going to the jazz clinic at Stanislaus this year, and the guest artist Carl Allen said to Juan, said, "Hey, why don't you play the melody for me?" And then Juan said, "Oh, do you want the music?" And he says, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, do you want the music?" He's like, "The music or the paper?" I said, "Oh, the paper." He's like, "Well, that's just paper. I want the music." So there's the idea of taking the music off the paper and make it your own. So he asked Juan to play the melody by himself, memorize. And so that is taking the music off the page. I'll give you another example. Taking music off the page, I am working on Porgy and Bess. It's a xylophone solo, and I was really frustrated. And I kept looking at the music, and then I realized I've been playing that music. Sorry. Okay, there's a car horn. I've been playing the music right off the page and not playing it to memory and making it my way and making my sound. So I decided to just try to memorize it, commit to memorizing. And so far I've been playing it and it's like it feels so much better. Just feels and sounds better too. So here is the idea. Knowing where you are and understanding music a little bit more than your usual pick a note, play a note. So we were talking about just analyzing all this, and if we just keep going, we'll keep analyzing all this. But it's important to know that why do I need to know what root, third or fifth or seventh or ninth, what note I'm playing as an individual? So if we're here on the first chord, if it's the D major chord, we analyze it into one chord. The D is our root, and we'll just put an R for root. Now, if it's a D, F sharp, A, if it's a D major, it's D, F sharp, A. That's the first three triads. I need to know what's the root, what's the third, what's the fifth. Well, the third is an F sharp. So whoever's playing F sharp is our third. And up here in the second violin, we have a F sharp. We also have A, which is our fifth, and it belongs to the cello. So this is our fifth. Now, what's the viola playing? It's playing the root. So we now know that roots root with the third and fifth. Who's doing what? It's important to know this. It's because there's a tuning situation here. There's this concept of equal temperament and just temperament. We can heavily deep into this, but if we do, it's very mathematical. There's an actual equation that belongs to the equal temperament and how it's equally divided, and that's the whole term of equal. So from root to root of the octave, everything in between is equal, and it's divided equally, and that's how we get all 12 tones, and which is what is used for the Western world. If you go to a piano, it's equaled. It's an equal instrument. Some of our wind instruments are equal instruments. What's a just instrument, or ones that can adjust the pitch? the wavelengths and the frequencies between each other notes. And you'll hear some of that in the vocalists, the string players, and a couple of wind players like the trombone that can usually slide and change pitch, whatever it is. So if I'm a mallet player, I'm an equal temperament instrument. I'm 440 is the primary note, and everything is just all equally spaced with semitones or half steps. Where the just is that you can make adjustments. See how I did that? Make adjustments to the notes to make it even sound pure. And when you listen to music, vocalists, really good vocalists, they actually adjust their sounds to tune better. And when they're tuning, they tune down to the lowest note, which is the root. Now, how would you do this? There's actually a mathematical system here of tuning. And we take a look at this in tune chords for just intonation. We'll have to assume that the first chord, the first note here, C, is solid in tune. So that means if we're playing C and you see a tuner, the dial is lined up properly, or on my app, it has that happy face, that very cool tuning system that I have. So that one's in tune. And then the third, which is the one that changes everything. Remember, if I change this note and change that note, it's major, it's minor, okay? The third has see the minus 14? That is in the tuning system, minus 14 cents. So if we're tuning, if you take a look at the tuner, you want to go to the minor side, which means flat side. So you're going to flat it with 14 cents. And then on the fifth note, which is the fifth of the chord, the perfect fifth, you see the +2 there? The +2 says sharp. So you want to actually increase it by 2. And that is the adjustment. And then if we actually have vocalists, this is why I ask you guys to sing and play, because when you sing, you actually adjust. You adjust to make it actually the chord sound beautiful. And when you're adjusting, you're actually doing a couple of this changing. And then when you play your instrument, you're wanted to manipulate your instrument to do those changes. And so this is very important to know where you are in the chord. And so that being said, if it's a D major, the same thing will apply here. Hold on, it's not showing up on my screen. It's not showing up on my screen. Sorry, give me a second. Let's try that again. Okay, all right. So once again, if you can see, the root has to be in tune. So that means the bass and the viola have to be perfectly in tune. Now, if those two players are not perfectly in tune, everything's going to collapse. So this is why I even ask you in class to listen down and to make sure that everyone can play the same note properly. So if everyone's in tune, and remember, violas, there's like 9 violas. If all 9 violas can play in tune, I mean, it's going to have this nice fuller sound. So it's important to stay in tune. And then when you are the third or the fifth, I like to go root fifth and then add in the third. So we'll go with the fifth. The fifth player has to actually, I like to put an arrow telling you to go up, meaning you need to sharpen it. And if you're the third, place an arrow either above it or next to it. Even better if you just do above it to remind yourself that you are lower. And then same concept and so forth. Now, if it's a minor, let's go back to our chart. If you're a minor, we have in tune for the C, and then our fifth is still +2, sharp 2. Now, since it's minor already, that means it's lowered. If you lower it even more, you're going to go to another note, right? So you're going to be playing D instead of the E flat. So you're actually going to have to do the opposite. You're actually going to trick yourself and raise it up 16 cents. Do I have a question out there? Okay. I think whoever joined us, you're on speaker, so you might want to mute yourself. Okay. So that being said, come back to here. And our root is, remember, it's a minor, so it's going to be D, right? B, D, F sharp. So B's are our root, D's our third, and F sharp is our fifth. So root, whoever's playing B, you're going to be solid. So root, cello, root. Our violas are playing D, so they actually are our third. And then F sharp is still here. Now notice that just from one note being changed, which is the D to the B, and the cello is going up to B, changes everything. So you're actually tuning between two different notes. You actually have to make another adjustment. So if I was a second violinist and noticing that I'm the fifth, I'm actually have to change and go up +2. And since I'm the third here, when I was originally the root, I now have to sharpen. So I have to go up. I have to sharpen by 16 cents. So you're not actually staying in the same tuning when you're playing D again. It's tricky. It's super tricky. But the next chord, once again, you're the root. So the violas are actually adjusting every time they're playing. So you play D, is it open string or not, right? So you have to even know open strings are even trickier too, but you don't have to worry about open strings. Sometimes you have to make certain adjustments. Open strings are going to be difficult to make that adjustment. That's the only issue you guys have for a string player. But when you're not open string, or a clarinet player or flute player, you have to make some certain adjustments to make sure you are tuning to the chord itself. So I can send you more of this information, but my time's about to run out. And I hope you guys have a great time. Once again, tuning is important. I recommend you guys sitting with a tuner, tuned to one instrument, concert pitch, and then go through all your notes, see how well you know, is it in tune, is it out of tune? That's my a little mini assignment for you guys. Just tune and see how well you guys can tune and make those adjustments. So know your instrument better than you know yourself. So like I said, have a good one. Chicken, chow mein. Miss y'all. Have a good one. Bye.